Hello students. In our earlier lectures, we have discussed about the skeleton system, particularly with respect to what are the functions of the human skeleton, what are the constituents of the skeleton, how are the various bones classified, and what is the two types of the human skeleton, two basic parts of the human skeleton. One is the axial skeleton, which consists of the skull, vertebral column, sternum, ribs. Today we will be discussing about the appendicular skeleton, which consists of the bones of the limbs and girdles. Okay. We will also be discussing about the different types of joints that are present in the bones and how are they classified. So let us start with the bones of the limbs. The bones of the limbs include both hands as well as legs. So the bones of the forelimbs, okay, which is the hands, and hind limbs, that is the legs, largely correspond to each other. Okay, they are similar. The forelimbs consists of the single long bone, which is the humerus. Okay, this is the single long bone that is present in the forelimb. Two long bones in the lower arm, okay, which is the radius and the ulna. Radius and the ulna. 8 carpals or wrist bones in the wrist. Okay, so in the wrist there are the 8 carpals and 5 metacarpals in the palm. 14 phalanges. Okay, phalanges, these are nothing but our finger bones. 2 in the thumb and 3 each in the remaining 4 fingers. Okay, so there are the 14 phalanges. The hind limb, that is the legs, consists of the long bone, that is the femur. Okay, that is the femur. That is the thigh bone, which is the longest and the strongest bone of the body. Okay, the femur is the longest and the strongest bone of the body. Two long bones of the inner tibia and outer fibula in the shank. 7 tarsal bones in the ankle. Okay, so these are the tarsal bones in the ankle. There are the 7 tarsal bones, 5 long metatarsal bones in the middle of the foot, and 14 phalanges, just as those of the fingers. Okay, 2 in the greater toe and 3 each in the other 4 toes. The hind limb have an additional bone called the patella. Okay, this patella or the kneecap, patella or the kneecap, okay, which is joined to the lower end of the femur. The kneecap is a bone that is developed from a tendon. That is interesting, that the kneecap, though it is a bone, it is developed from a tendon. And you know that tendon connects the muscle to the bone. Next, coming to the girdles. Okay, so these were all the different bones that are present in the hind legs and the forelegs. Next, we will look at the girdles. The girdles are the parts of the skeleton which help to articulate the limb bones to the main or axial skeleton. Okay, so there are the two girdles. What are they? One is the shoulder or pectoral girdle. Shoulder or pectoral girdle. Okay. Now it consists of the two flat triangular shoulder blades or the scapula. Okay. So in our below our shoulder on the back side, you can feel the triangular shoulder blade. This is known as the scapula, which lies dorsally on the upper ribs on the either side of the vertebral column in the thorax region. The outer apex bears a large, somewhat cup-shaped glenoid cavity. Okay, this glenoid cavity, it fits in the rounded upper head of the humerus. Okay, so as we see here, this humerus bone, it is having this kind of circular shape here, so that is going to fit into the glenoid cavity. And close to the joint, the shoulder blade has a small raised part to which a long and curved collar bone known as the clavicle is attached. This one. Okay, here the clavicle will be attached. The other end of the collarbone is joined to the uppermost part of the sternum. Okay, so this is the shoulder or the pectoral girdle, okay, which is roughly triangular in shape, and it has a glenoid cavity for the attachment of the shoulder blade. Okay, the shoulder blade is having the glenoid cavity, okay, which fits the upper head of the humerus. Okay, now the other one is the hip or pelvic girdle. Now it is a large trough shaped, formed by two hip bones that are joined, okay, two hip bones that are joined medially to the sacrum, okay, to the sacrum. So this is the sacrum bone, and each hip bone is made up of three fused bones. What is it? They are the ilium, the ischium, ischium and pubis. Okay, ilium, ischium and pubis together form the hip bone. On each side, it bears a large cup-shaped articular cavity called acetabulum. Okay, this acetabulum is the cavity for head of the thigh bone. The hip girdle not only gives support to the skeleton of the hind limb, but also protects and supports the abdominal organs. Okay, so in this way, the shoulder or the pectoral girdle, the hip or the pelvic girdle, along with the bones of the limbs, what do they form? They form the appendicular skeleton. Next, we move on to the joints. What are the different types of joints that are present in the bones? Okay, so joints are basically a point at which two separate bones meet. There are the three major categories of the joints in our bone. They are the immovable, partially movable and freely movable. Under the immovable, okay, immovable joints, this type of joint, there is no movement. The structure between the bones of the cranium, okay, so this is the skull. In the skull, this is what we see, the cranium, and the bones are very much almost like fused with each other. Okay, there is no gap, and there is no movement in this cranium. Okay, so these are known as the immovable joints. The other type is the partially movable joints. Here only very little or partial movement occurs between the two bones. For example, the joint between the ribs and the breastbone and between the vertebrae. Okay, so you know the rib bones, when we are breathing they slightly move. Okay, that is not free movement, or they are not even immovable, they are able to move partially. The same is true with the bones of the vertebrae, the spinal column. Okay, so there are the third one is the freely movable joints. In this type, varying degree of the movements are possible between the two bones. Okay, so immovable, and the other one is the partially movable, and the next is the freely movable. Under the freely movable there is the gliding joint. Okay, under freely movable there are the gliding joints. Okay, it occurs between the bones of the wrist and also between the bones of the ankle as well as between the vertebrae. Okay, so the wrist bone as well as the intervertebral discs, that is the vertebral column. Okay, the other type of joint is the pivot joint. Okay, pivot joint. In this, one bone is rotated over a pivot like end of the another bone. For example, the skull is rotated on the upper end of the axis vertebrae. Okay, so this is the superior aspect of the atlas facing skull. Atlas is the first vertebrae. Okay, the first vertebrae, atlas axis. Okay, so that is the what we say free movement. Okay, freely movable joints, pivot joint. Okay, example of pivot joint. The another type is the hinge joint. Okay, this hinge type, the joint moves like a hinge in one plane, only just like the hinge of a door. Example, the elbow joint between the humerus and the ulna. Okay, the humerus, as you remember, in the hind limbs as well as in the forelimbs. Okay, at the elbow and knee, what is happening? The hinge joint kind of movement is taking place. So for example, when we are taking in the forelimb, that is in the hand, the humerus and the ulna, they are moving like a hinge. Okay, so this is an example of the hinge joint. Okay, that is the elbow joint. Also the joint between the bones of the fingers and the toes, and less perfectly the knee joint. The hinge joint usually gives sufficient power. Okay, next is the ball and socket joint. Okay, now here one end of the bone is rounded and ball like, and it fits into a cup like depression in other bone. This joint provides movement in any direction. Two best examples are the shoulder joints and the hip joints. In shoulder joint, the head of the humerus fits into the socket, that is the glenoid cavity of the shoulder girdle. In the hip joint, the large ball-like head of the femur fits into the deep socket, acetabulum, of the hip girdle. Okay, so this is in the case of the hip joint, the large ball-like head of the femur. Okay, it will fit into the deep socket, that is the acetabulum of the hip girdle. Next, we look at the important aspect of the synovial joints. Synovial joints. So the freely movable joints stated above, like the ball and socket joint, okay, shoulder joints, knee joints, also called synovial joints. They allow considerable degree of movement. These joints have two special arrangements. Firstly, they should be held firmly in a certain position, okay, and secondly, the surface coming in contact should be well lubricated to remove the friction, okay. So the two bones, they are almost like in direct contact with each other. The lubricating fluid, okay, the lubricating fluid that is there is known as the synovial fluid, okay, and therefore the joint is known as the synovial joint. The knee joint, for example, is a synovial joint. It is held in position by the strong ligaments, okay. The ligaments are going to connect the bone to the bone, whereas the tendons are going to link the muscle to the bone, okay. So here what is happening, there are the two bones and they are being linked by the ligaments, and they are well protected by the outer fibrous capsule, okay. There is a cartilage kind of a layer is there. Now the ligaments prevent the dislocation in the normal movement. The synovial fluid is contained in a sac formed of very thin synovial membrane, and the sac serves as a cushion between these bones, okay. So in this way, these synovial joints, okay, they are having, for example, here femur and tibia in the knee joint. This is the kneecap, that is the tila, okay, that is the tela is known as the kneecap. This is the articular cartilage, okay, that is going to prevent the friction between the two bones. The fluid is the synovial fluid. This membrane that is enclosing the synovial fluid is the synovial membrane. This is the fibrous capsule, and these are ligaments that are going to join the bone to bone so that they do not get dislocated, okay. And individually these bones are again connected with the muscle via the tendons, okay. So this is the typical arrangement of a knee joint, which is also called the synovial joint. So there are the different types of joints: immovable, partially movable, freely movable. Under freely movable, they are the gliding joint, pivot joint, hinge joint, ball and socket joint. In our next class, we will be discussing about the muscles, the kinds of muscles, and about the liver mechanism. Thank you.